Welcome everybody to Heroes Peak Quick Peek. With I'm your host Chris, and I'm here, of course, with James and Mike. We're here to talk Miss Marvel, aka Kamala Khan, or it should be the other way. It should be Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel, but it's the Disney Plus series. And I just actually finished episode 6. I know I'm like a week behind everybody else, but we're here to do a quick discussion about the whole series as a whole, and especially about that last episode. Last episode.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
And so first I'm going to let Mike give his overall overview of the whole series. What did you think of it? Started, what are your expectations, and how do you think it made it through the ending?
Overall I enjoyed it. There was a lot of stuff that I thought was some episodes have, like, some shows have this filler. But this one I found had filler unrelated to anything. And I'll get into more details later. Like episode 5, I think it was 4 or 5, when she first got to Pakistan and they were at a restaurant, they were at the mall. It had nothing to do with anything. They just wanted to show you, here's the mall in Pakistan and here's a restaurant in Pakistan. Had nothing to do with the story or the characters or anything. And I understand it's Pakistani writers, directors, whatever, and they're bringing culture. They want to bring culture to Marvel viewers, and I'm cool with it because I'm from that side of the world originally, and it was nice to see. But as a Marvel viewer, as a Marvel fan, I'm like, why are you wasting my time right now? Let's show me the bad guys, show me the powers, whatever, right? So
Wait, there were bad guys? I didn't see any. What are you talking about, bad guys?
So like I said, I did enjoy this series overall. The ending was kind of flat, but still enjoyable. If the target audience was the teenager group, which I want to believe that this was for, then I think they hit the mark. They did a good job overall. So
Right. All right. Yeah, thank you. James, what do you got for me?
I'm probably just like Mike. I was a little bit excited to see it. First episode hooked me because it was something brand new, and I like the idea of seeing another culture being shown in Marvel. And then it took a dip. Then it became like, I want to say like Stargirl, but Stargirl light. Like Stargirl has better writing and better stories, like that teen type of thing, which I was disappointed. And then episode 3, I think that's when, no, not even, it was episode 4 when we got to go to Pakistan. Give us a backstory, the Bengals and everything, and ultimately it really meant nothing. And then like the finale, I was like, this feels like Home Alone, but in a high school gym or high school. I was disappointed in the show overall. I think it's probably been the weakest of all of the Disney Plus shows. I'm going to even put a Hawkeye above this one.
I would definitely
Keith's laughing
Hawkeye
somewhere.
above this.
Somewhere Keith is laughing at that. Am I interested in watching this show ever again? Probably not. Am I interested in seeing where her character goes in the Miss Marvel series? That's tough because Captain Marvel is also involved in that. And I do like Photon's character, so I'm like, this was just bad outing for me.
Don't act like you're not going to see it. You're going to
Well,
see it.
look at it this way: the origin story's out of the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
It did, and I do like the Photon character, so I'm
And by the way,
1 out of 3.
can you imagine
We'll see.
if in Shang-Chi, like, they got to China and all of a sudden they just had a whole scene of, we're at the Great Wall of China for no reason. Here's the Great Wall of China.
That would have been 200 no's, and I think people would have been upset about that. But yeah, what about you, Chris?
All right. I'm gonna relate this to Black Widow, the movie Black Widow. What I loved about the Black Widow movie, and what I really like about this show, is the family dynamic when the characters get together and they're with their family and they're having their problems and they're back and forth, and that kind of just show about a kid and their family. It just happens to be a superhero. That kind of cool stuff. I think that works. But when they tried to introduce some sort of villain, and I put that in quotes because they didn't really introduce a villain. First, it was this Dijin group, but it really wasn't
Mm-hmm.
them. And then it was these red scarf people for about 10 seconds, but it really wasn't them. And then it was damage control, but they hadn't introduced anybody from damage control. They were kind of supposed to be this faceless, you know, government agency. But is that damage control, or is that just is that supposed to be somebody like? And they just appeared at the end, and they didn't feel like they were a threat to anything because we hadn't built up what they do to people. Like, as far as I know, damage control cleans this shit up. Like, if you're gonna make him more than that, you gotta.
I thought it was the same crew in what was the Spider-Man movie with Keaton when he came over and he took over all the Shatari stuff from him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
I thought it was the same group.
that is damage
That's
control.
Oh, same
what
group.
damage,
They
Okay.
damage control is supposed to do that.
they come in, they clean
Yeah.
up. I mean, that worked because what's her name's father wanted to clean it up and make money off of it,
Right.
but damage control under Tony Stark was basically stealing that job from him. So that works. But they're just like the FBI with ray guns, right? They're not damage control.
Yeah,
but
it didn't make sense
they could be
because that's the
if you
same.
built them that way.
That guy was in No Way Home, interrogating Peter Parker and Aunt May and the rest of them. Remember,
He was. Yes, he
same
was.
guy, but he was never announced as damage control in that movie. He was just like an agent. Like, I don't know if he was what
I thought he was Sword
whatever it was.
or something else.
Yeah, I thought he was like FBI or something.
But basically, if you want to make a overarching villain that you want to fight at the end, then you got to do something with us to make us see that coming. Like, just appearing at the end and like a little bit in the first episode with some drones didn't really do anything.
Right.
It was like you said, it was kind of Home Alone, but I feel more for the Wet Bandits than I do for. I'm more
Wet
I'm more
Bandits.
scared of the Wet Bandits. But overall, I like Kamala. I like Iman.
Yeah.
She was good in the role. I liked her family.
I agree. Yeah.
Her friends, like Bruno was, or right, his name's Bruno, not
Yeah.
Brian.
Bruno, yeah, Bruno.
I don't know, like
Bruno's no
I
Ned,
couldn't tell.
that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, they tried to make him the man in the chair, Ned,
but they
and it wasn't working.
But they kept but she had like a dozen other people she would interact with, and then they appeared in like the last episode. Like, she helped the one girl, she convinced her to run for the council. But
The
then,
YouTube girl.
but then,
the Muslim girl.
then suddenly in the last episode, she's like, "Are you gonna hate me because I'm a superhero?" I'm like, "Where the shit did that come from?" And then, like, the girl she saves in episode 1.
Yeah.
Comes back and she's like, "I knew who you were all along." And there was so much missed buildup to an interesting finale.
I did like how
is-
they sent the white people out front to deal with it.
Yo, did you watch our homegirl did the little
Yeah.
TikTok? How we're
she
gonna
made a couple
white
of
privilege.
and she was like, "Yeah, send the white people out front so we don't get shot."
Yeah, I think the final episode was a big letdown for me, but I saw it coming. I said this before. The 6-episode format seems to leave so much, and the decision to, hey, we're gonna break for 2 episodes. Let's talk about Boba Fett. We're gonna break for 2 episodes. We're gonna do the history of the Bengal. We're gonna introduce these red scarf people. We're gonna go to Pakistan. We're gonna get the grandma involved. Like, that's a whole arc. Like, why are we trying to shove that into 2 episodes? That's a season 2. Send the girl off to Pakistan, learn the history, get to know the people,
Right.
get the background. All interesting, fascinating stuff. I was like, oh shit, I want to know more about it. But episode 6, she's home. Like, whoa, okay. I guess
She's home and the whole community knows her
I want to
identity.
know what
And I'm
airline
like,
it
that's
is.
not how things
I want to know
work.
what airline it is that flies from Asia that quick. So
right, and then
Qatar.
they went from Jersey to Pakistan and back in like 12 hours.
right in the first 3 episodes, she learns that she can run on some discs, and then in the 6th episode, she's like Embiggened, and I'm like, whoa, where did this come from?
Ray
Like,
Skywalker.
I don't need an extended
Mm.
scene, but if you're gonna advance her powers, do it. Like, make me a show about this girl who's having trouble learning her new powers. Make it a goofy teen comedy where she's dealing with her family and she's dealing with her hometown, learning her identity. Is this okay with her? Like, that's a show. That's a
Yeah, they
story.
could have done it in the footprints of Spider-Man, but not a big movie blockbuster. Just a high school Jinx and her already not feeling that she fits in, but now she's got powers. And like, there's so much potential from episode 1 that they could have went, and they decided to give you 5 more different
Right,
plots.
Turning Red did it this year also. Like, Turning Red is probably as much of the story I wanted here, with some cultural background, but without invading the base of the character's story and her friends and the way she handles the whole thing. And like, they miss so much by just jettisoning off for 2 episodes. Even if it's interesting, you're losing the main heart of the show, and you're killing yourself for a cool second season arc.
I mean,
For
we
the
also
character.
had that whole time travel aspect of it too.
Yeah, like,
Apparently-
oh, it was me.
Yeah, that was one of the 2.
It was.
Yeah, when I say 2 episodes, that was one of the.
It was
the
me
2.
all along. I'm like, wait, you what? Wait, you what? What? What did I
And that
miss here?
story alone could have been a good story by itself, but when you throw it in the midst of this series, I was like, oh man, this is really not continuity here. Like, I get it. You want to show the fact that she was always meant to have the bangles, it's been passed down on her people, but like, you're taking away from so much more in the story we could be talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, you're like giving me Lost season 4 in the 2nd episode of season 1. Like, too much.
It's too bad because I really, like I said, I really like the characters. The first 3 episodes really had me. I say, okay, it's got a style all its own. It's got interesting people. I feel their interactions are honest, and she's living in this community. And how is she living in the community when she's all of a sudden changing? But then they just you just have to stop. Do one thing, Marvel, on your show. Do one thing, accomplish one task before you
Do
jump.
we know if anyone, the writers or the directors behind this, have done any other Marvel? You know anything? I meant to look before we did the pod to see if there's any.
All right, so I'm gonna open up here.
I'm just curious if they've done any of the Marvel
So
previous IP or they're brand new.
the main writer has 6 episodes. Bisha K. Ali. I know I've seen her stuff. She wrote Loki. She wrote for Loki.
Okay, so all right, so you got experience with Disney Plus shows.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And Marvel, right? Yeah.
Right. And I think we went through this last time we talked about that.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, they have experience writing. I feel like there was this idea like we have to show the history of where it came from. And I think you have 6 episodes, it feels like a lot, but it's actually not that much. Like, it really felt like they were taking it slow, they were doing the family, the friends, the neighborhood, and then you just completely wipe the floor with the momentum you've got on your character building by doing a big history jettison.
Do you remember we used to complain about the Netflix Marvel shows were too long, like 13 episodes?
13 episodes.
Now we're arguing 6 episodes is too short with Disney Plus.
It's when they decide they want to throw in filler stuff, like I talked about earlier, right? When you start doing mall trips and sit down and complaining at a restaurant, that's a problem with 6 episodes. When you have 13, you got time for that. So I agree with you, Chris. They should have they should have kept it Jersey local, about the powers, about her discovering her powers, about the damage control or whoever. At the end of it, you bring Grandma on at the end, at the last moment, going, "You should come to Pakistan. I have something to show you." And then boom, then you get
Bang,
to.
bang,
So they should have done it
bang.
And
like that.
I know they want to set up, obviously. So spoilers, everybody. We've already gone through a lot of spoilers here, but spoilers is that at the last moment in the mid credit scene or after credit scene, however you do it, um,
Wait, you're
Kamala
skipping.
gets.
Are you talking about the?
Yeah, there was two. I mean, Chris said he only saw one, but did you get the one at the end when Bruno's talking to him and he says, "You have a
That's
mutation"?
not an after credits. That's at the
No,
end of
that's
the
at the end of the
episode.
show, right? Yeah, but we didn't.
Okay, my bad, my bad.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they name drop mutation in her genes,
And
which
yeah,
it could be anything. It could be a Kree thing, or it could
no.
be X
They
Men.
played the X-Men
Inhuman,
music,
no.
yo. Did you not
Yeah.
hear that?
They did. It's official, Chris.
It's
It's
official.
official.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
she's the first mutant to
I
be
had to.
It's fun.
announced
Chris, I was
publicly.
telling James the other day, we were talking about it before you watched it, and I was like, I had to go back to watch it on my computer and to crank up the volume because you can barely hear it, but you can hear like 5 or 6 notes of that X-Men theme.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
go back
I
to
missed
it, and listen again.
We have subtitles on,
Yeah.
so that's why I read it. But like, I understand people. Some people are upset at the lack of Inhumans, but I think I said to you guys before on chat. I know comic book readers who had their life like sucked into the difference between an Inhuman and a mutant and a Captain America who's none of the above or a science experiment, whatever.
Yeah.
Human
Normal
evolutionary.
like movie going public is not gonna understand that difference. It's subtle, it's too subtle. They can't decide what the difference between Marvel and DC is. It's okay. Simplify. She's a mutant. I'm okay with it.
And I
I know some
guarantee you,
people are
most of those
fans.
people haven't seen Inhumans, that show. I never watched the Inhumans show
Yeah.
either.
I watched it, all of it.
I'm sorry, James.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as I know, and I'm not a big Inhumans person, so you have a thing in your genes. It's just the way it's activated instead of by growing up and getting to 13 or whatever.
Well, yeah. There's a hierarchy class that were born as Inhumans that live on the moon. They're like a royal family. But then there's people on. If you want to get big picture, super nerdy mutants and all that stuff, is the Celestials millions of years ago did an experiment before humankind came about and put these latent, lack of a word, mutations in humanity, so that certain things can activate you, like Bruce Banner and Captain America, because the super soldier serum or the gamma explosion would kill almost anyone except for these particular people that were carrying this mutation.
Okay.
The X gene is totally different from that. The X gene it's unpredictable. It's meant for. It's not as organized. Like if you get hit by gamma radiation, that's what's going to happen to you, right? And then you have the Inhumans, who were like supposed to be more like the Kree Skrull of humankind, but that didn't happen because regular humankind evolved as like the primary race, and then mutants came. So that's how Marvel wrote it. MCU has taken a different stance on it, where because first of all they didn't have the rights to the X-Men when they started the studios.
Mm-hmm.
They really focused on like it's enhanced, right? They call it enhanced, folks.
Yeah.
That was the term they kept using: enhance. And then the Inhumans, the TV show on ABC, which I watched, which was terrible. It was still cool to see the main actor, Black Bolt, show up, and that didn't hit. And I don't think that didn't hit because it wasn't a good storyline. I think because ABC at the time was airing it, because there was no Disney Plus, made it too campy, and it turned off people. And they had a movie idea, and that got canned. So Inhumans became a bad word around the whole MCU world. So they decided to retcon Kamala. Instead of being Inhuman, now she's a mutant.
And
that's the story.
Yeah, I think if it worked, if that was like a popular show, they might have like said, okay, we're gonna do the Inhumans and whatever. But at this point, it's just a way to explain the powers as naturally there, as opposed to a Tony Stark or whatever, where you're made power through a special object or a
Correct.
Green Lantern or something. So
Correct.
yeah, I was weird because when I was watching that final episode and her displaying her embiggening powers, at sometimes it looked like they were stretching her body too, and then sometimes when they did close up, it didn't look like that. Like
Right.
I couldn't tell when she was really tall, Kamala. I was like, is some of her body
That's
stretched?
what it
I
looked
couldn't
like. It
quite.
was hard to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looked
Yeah.
like too.
So that's what I was wondering if they were getting there, but not all the way there. But again, it's something they should have gone in through. That would have been more interesting in season one, and then create a season two for the background, which can
I mean, the
wait.
fact that she said she was a mutant, knowing that she was a granddaughter of an alien being that existed in another universe,
Mhm.
to me, that's more complicated than just being a human.
Right, and this
But
and this whole like, well, that city's gonna overtake or that city from the other universe is trying to come through the portal, but that never went anywhere. That whole city
yeah,
portal thing just ate the guy's mom, and he got mad and like
and before she died, she whispered her powers to him, something like that. She
I
like passed on her powers
right.
to him before she died.
And then he's like blowing up, and then he's nice, and but he wants some help, but now he's mad, and I'm like, this is so. He was
I'm
completely
glad I wasn't the only one that felt this way.
he was completely unnecessary. He wasn't that great to begin with, but he just like that character. I understand at first, like, okay, we're gonna bring her into this Disney universe by using this cute guy that she's attracted to, and blah blah blah. We're gonna go that way, but you didn't go that way. You went, well, I think we kind of want to do them, but we don't really want to make them the bad guys, right? They're not really bad guys. We want to make, I don't know. If she's a mutant, then what's with the Djinn stuff? If there's Djinn, what's with the mutant thing? What's with the
Exactly.
what's with her connection with the bangle? None of
This is
it.
just trying for too much. They
Mhm.
tried for too much in this show.
Yeah, within the show, they didn't properly explain what they wanted to explain. Didn't properly build anybody to go up against Kamala for whatever reason they wanted them to go up against. I don't think anything built to a proper head for her. I guess to skip to the last one, which was the Carol Danvers appearance, and that is at the very, very, very end. The bangle starts to vibrate or something. She touches it. She gets blown into her closet, and then up stands instead of Kamala. It is Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel.
Mm.
She doesn't. She looks around, confused to where she is, and then runs off. And we are all left to wait for the movie The Marvels, where we get the little text that they will return.
Yeah, I read some theories on that. There's a guy, might as well give him credit, Emergency Awesome and Cosmic Wonder. Um, they mentioned a theory that they could be also using Kamala as the what's it called, the Marvel character who used to have the nega bands
Right.
that used to like serve Infinity, and like they're swapping both her and Captain Marvel with her powers where it's intertwined. Like when one uses it, they're in a nega band universe. This is deep Marvel cut. I had to look it up just to remind myself. This was popular in the late '80s, early '90s. I think he was Marvel. I think he was Captain Marvel. He had the two bands. They're called the nega bands. I remember Thanos killed him in a gauntlet by squeezing it together. So the Nash is probably trapped in that universe, and Captain Marvel's like, how am I intertwined with this, and I have to go save her. And then somehow they might bring Eternity like they did in freaking Thor: Love and Thunder,
I loved
because
Eternity.
that used to be the emissary of Eternity.
Awesome.
He did. It's the best part about that part. But that's a theory. Again, I'm just giving a theory that sounds plausible to me.
Yeah, Mike, what did you think of this completely out of left field, leave you confused, and hopefully make you run to the theater ending to this?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a body swap or shapeshift, right? Because apparently,
Yeah,
she
I
can
thought
do
maybe a
both.
shapeshift.
Apparently, she can shapeshift too, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's. I have a feeling it was more of a body swap. So
Yeah, I think if it was a shapeshift, she'd have to look in the mirror and question who she,
yeah,
why she looked like that.
Yeah, I think this one. Yeah, when Carol got there, she was just kind of like looking around the room, like where the hell am I, as opposed to why do
Mm-hmm.
I look like this, right? So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, I guess if that's how you want to start off the Marvels movie, then we'll see what happens, right? So the question is, where is Kamala now? If
Mm-hmm.
Carol's there, right? So I don't know.
And how does Carol even know to look for her? I guess we should get. Hopefully, we will get those
Well, once
answers
you open
in
the
the
door
Marvel
and
movie.
run into Mama downstairs, and
That's right.
Mama's gonna be like,
No, it's white girl in my
why is
house.
there a strange white woman in my house?
Exactly.
So
So yeah. All right. Why don't we give a grade to this series? This is a tough one. Um,
Hmm.
like like I said, I
Oof.
grade it high on character, the main character, and her main family, and like the first three episodes, and then just like everything else just really kind of didn't go in a consistent direction to make it interesting. I'm gonna give it a straight C. Probably, unfortunately, like my lowest grade so far on a Marvel series, just because it just crashed so hard after the first three episodes. Mike.
I'm gonna go a little higher than that. I'm gonna go B minus because some of the cultural
Mhm.
stuff resonated with me a little better, right? So, and I
Respect.
appreciate
Respect.
seeing it on the on the Marvel screen. So, um,
Yeah, and
I'm,
that's the stuff I loved. I wanted.
yeah. So
Same. Same. I text you that the
Mhm.
first
and
episode, second
I
episode
was
too.
impressed with Kamala Khan and the actress, and she did. I thought she did a great job. So I'm gonna B minus for me.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see her fangirl a little bit, be that poppy prep, that character she is, opposite of the Brie Larson kind of, who's been pretty stoic, to put it lightly. I think that'll help brighten up that movie.
Yeah, if she's gonna, I'm looking forward to. She'll be that smart ass sidekick, right? That should work.
A little,
Like America Chavez, you mean? Like America Chavez?
a little
What
more
Yeah,
you
but
than
aiming
American
I
at?
Chavez
don't
isn't
think
going to be
Amir.
hanging out with Brie Larson, right?
Right,
I
Yeah,
know. I'm just
yeah, no, but
saying.
I get you. Like they all have that. They all need a that smart ass sidekick somewhere, I guess.
right, and it won't be the same as Tony Stark and Peter, because Tony's a smart ass too,
Right.
whereas it's a different dynamic. Um, James, what's your grade?
I do like a lot of the stuff that Mike just mentioned. I like the cultural aspect. That's what really hooked me in the show. Jersey City being close to home for me, but there was so much at fault with the writing and action sequences and a bunch of stuff. So I can't really even give it a C. And I'm teetering between a C minus and a D plus, and
Woo.
I don't think it's as terrible as a D plus, so I'm gonna land it at a C minus, hoping that was better than when I gave Hawkeye. So
Right.
yeah, C minus,
Yeah,
C minus.
I think the writing in the first three episodes was fine. I think all of that, if they had continued on that track, kept Damage Control as the main villain, and kept the extended family background stuff for a season two, I think I would have definitely been a much stronger series. But what are you gonna do? I maybe they were told, hey, you got to get some background information in there. You got to do this and you got to do that. Maybe it's one of those overall directives was too much stuff shoved into the pie, right? But
Mm,
True.
but I'm excited to see Iman be this character in a bigger budget, in a more targeted direction movie. Uh, she's a good
A better
addition.
story.
Yeah, she's a good addition to the universe. So
Yeah, Yeah, we'll see. I'm on the fence so far.
I'm more positive because I'm more positive generally on Phase 4 so far than everybody else, I think.
That is true.
Because, by the way, I love Thor: Love and Thunder.
blech.
That
Iffy,
is also true for you.
iffy for iffy, a little slow in the front, but the back end was amazing, was great, was grand, was exciting. Hey, that.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Heroes Peak Quick Peek. Mike, where can they find us and comment and tell them how right I am about Phase 4 Marvel?
Yeah.
So
Please, everyone, comment and tell him how right he is.
if
Please.
you want to leave nasty comments for Chris, which I'm sure you probably do, we are at Heroes Peak all over the internet at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell to get notifications and leave a comment. Let Chris know below.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Night.